Good evening, everybody. November 20th, 2021. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here. We had a bit of a pump earlier today. So there are two ways to look at this. And right now we just don't have enough information to say which is going to take over. This red box, if you remember, was sort of the quote-unquote normal resistance if this was going to be 4 in this red count down with a final move here. So we are still within the realm of possibility on that. Certainly could still see that. Remember, the red line here at about 60.8K is the level that Bitcoin needs to break in order to take this off the table, at least in terms of this being a impulse down, right? You know, it's possible, because all this action has been pretty much shit action, you know, it's possible it breaks up and, you know, still kind of comes down a little bit, but it should take this lower low off the table as long as it breaks 60.8. So the two things that we can look at for the local action, the bad news first is that potentially, if we count this as an A wave up, B wave down, like so, we are into the resistance area for a C wave potentially, which could top anywhere in there and still be valid for this 4. As I said, this 60.8K kind of invalidates 4, so it would need to be in this shallow area of this red box. So what we've seen so far, if that's the top, if that's all we get, and we begin breaking down, especially below this low, 57.3. If we go below 57.3, I think it's fairly likely at that point that this then continues downwards to complete this 5th wave. So that is a possibility and sort of the bad news in looking at this chart, because this does look like it could be just 3 waves. Now the good news, on the other hand, as good as it can be anyway, if we go down, you can see it on this chart, but let me go down to like 15 minute maybe. See it a little more clear on a smaller time frame chart. We potentially have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. And I don't believe it's impulsive. It looks more like a diagonal, but let me just double check. I mean, it's within the realm of possibilities of being an impulse for sure. The micro count, you know, within here is a little fuzzy, but it could certainly be a 5-wave move up. So that's kind of good news here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up for the bulls. And if that's the case, then we have a 2 down. So here's our ABC down, like so. So we have a potential 1 and 2 setup here. So that is very good news for the bulls. This isn't the cleanest action that I've ever seen on Bitcoin. You know, like I said, it kind of looks more diagonal, but even so, it may be an impulse. So if that's the case, then actually that same fib applies. There's our 1, 2. This pump was a little weird. I've talked about before how normally we get a 618 to 382 pullback, which is kind of what we're getting right now. It went a little bit above that ideal region there, and now we're coming down. We are slightly below the 382, but if we find support relatively soon here, and like I said, stay above this region, this 57.3 region, and then break this 60.8K region, I think the signs are pretty good of entering the next leg up in this bull market. So as I've discussed before, you know, it's kind of looking to me like it may be more of a diagonal, like we get one more leg up here to that 80 to 100K range, but I'm being open-minded for this to surprise to the upside at some point. But if this does play out as we have it drawn here, we would expect something like this: 1, 2, 3 should go somewhere between 62 and 63K, right about there. 4 should come down to hold right in this 60K region, and then 5 up to 63 to 64. So that would give us, if we can get that fully played out here, and let me just make this slightly bigger, like that, and maybe put this in, which count is this? Put this in the orange color up. Okay, so if we can get those 5 waves up in orange, then we'll be in very good shape to begin the next leg of the bull market, and the next pullback after that would be a fairly good opportunity to long. Once again, if you haven't already. So just going to label these as resistance and support regions here. Okay, so like I said, still not out of the woods. You know, Bitcoin still needs to break this 60.8, but if it does so, we're likely looking at something along these lines, and then we should see a pullback from there, and that may provide another pretty good opportunity to grab some longs for the next leg up. My expectation, as I've maintained, is that we still reach at a minimum the 80 to 100K or 80 to 100K region within this bull market, and you know, this next leg may be all based on this diagonal that we've been tracking. That might be all we get, but let's see how it continues to play out. If this can do a true impulse off the low here, and then pull back, and then the next move, if we can get the next move after that pullback to be really strong and, you know, push us above the diagonal, then we can go back to looking at the much higher targets, potentially up in that 170K region. But I'm not fully counting on that yet, and it's important for us, like I said, to continue just watching this low time frame action and let the price action speak to us as far as what it wants to do. So hopefully that all made sense, and we'll just watch the action. I think those are pretty much the key levels to watch right now. We're going to watch this low, right? So 57.3-ish and 60.8. Those are the key levels to watch at this point. All right, everybody, have a good night. And tomorrow morning will be the weekly stream for members. On that, I will be going over this entire list right here. Whole bunch of assets we're gonna take a look at in the morning. So make sure you go to tradelikeawhale.com and sign up for a free 2-week trial to get access to that. All right, good night, everybody.